Good afternoon. Can you hear me now? Good. Welcome everybody to our recalling of the reapportionment committee. We missed y'all so much we decided to have a meeting just so we could see all the friendly faces again. We'll start the meeting. Chairman Richard Smith, if you'd lead us in prayer.
Dear Lord and Savior, we're thankful for the many blessings of this life. We know we don't deserve them, but we thank you. And give us guidance, give us compassion, and give us hope, and give us wisdom, dear Lord. In Christ's name we pray, amen.
Amen. Again, I want to welcome everybody. As most of y'all probably know, the state of Georgia and this committee and all of y'all got a great Christmas present on December 23rd when we got pre-clearance for all three plans that we adopted during the special session. It's historical, first time in Georgia's history since Voting Rights Act was implemented in 1965 that all three plans have been pre-cleared, and we got pre-cleared within the time that they had to pre-clear them. So, and that didn't just happen. That's a result of a great team, everybody working together. The reapportionment office did a fantastic job. Our lawyers did a great job of advising us as we went along. The committee has done a great job working together and touring the state and getting a lot of input before we started drawing the maps. Every representative had their fingerprints on these maps, came in and looked at them and had input into them, and as a result of all of that, that's how we got pre-cleared. Everybody working together with a common goal of making fair, constitutional, legal maps. And for the first time in Georgia history, we got pre-cleared on all three maps. So appreciate y'all being here. Today we're taking up House Bill 829, and I'm the author of that bill, so I guess I'll step aside and let Secretary McKillop conduct the meeting. You want to do it down there?
Yes.
I'll turn it over to you to call the bill. If
We will call House Bill 829, authored by Chairman Lane.
Thank you very much. I think someone's got their button on down there. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Substitute Chairman. much better Chairman, but appreciate it. House Bill 829 came about right towards the end of the pre-session of the special session, when Hall County delegation, legislative delegation, came to our committee, or came to me and the reapportionment office, and had some concerns about Hall County and the way it was split and the number of House districts that were coming into Hall County. There was 7. The plan that we adopted had 7 in it, and we explained to them back then that we had the statewide plan put together. We had consent and agreement from everybody on that statewide plan, and that we would look at their proposal between the special session and now. And so they've come back. They came back to us with their proposal, and in my opinion, it's a good proposal that cuts down on the number of House districts coming into Hall County, cuts it down from 7 down to just 4 House districts that would affect or be in Hall County. So the first part of the bill, and I know these maps don't mean a whole lot probably, but shows how Hall County, it's a more compact looking districts in Hall County, and does not have a huge effect on the surrounding districts. We did wind up splitting Habersham County as a result of doing this, but we also cut down on the splits, I believe, in some of the other counties that were around there. So that's the first part of the proposal. Then the only other change is one of our freshman legislators who just got elected, Dusty Hightower. He got elected in the old district, and under the plan that we drew up, which got approved in December, he is paired up now with another incumbent. So we've got a criteria that we follow of trying not to have incumbents paired up under our redistricting. Representative Hightower lives about 5 houses over out of his current district under the new plan, so we swapped precincts for him so that he would be in the district he got elected in and not be paired up with someone in the other district. So that's basically the 2 changes that that we are making. These, like the other map, have to go back to the Department of Justice for pre-clearance, just like the other map did. The other maps. There's no effect upon any minority districts, in our opinion, with these changes, so we don't see any Section 5 issues at all, and we are hopeful that this, if approved, would get pretty rapid pre-clearance. But we don't have any control over that, but that's our wish. That's kind of the way we're hoping it would go. With that, I'd be glad to open up any questions. If I know I didn't get in great detail on all of it. That's basically what this bill is doing. And I've got, let's see.
Any questions for the author? Representative Beasley Teague.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Well, my first question was about when we started the meeting, when you said, I'm trying to find out, what does pre-clearance mean?
What's pre-clearance?
Yeah, what does that mean?
Well, we've talked about that for about a year now.
Okay, but you said we received it on December 23rd.
I'm sorry, Department of Justice pre-clearance under Section 5 of the Voting Rights Act.
Okay.
Saying that in the opinion of the Department of Justice, U.S. Department of Justice, our maps were acceptable to be pre-cleared under Section 5 of the Voting Rights Act.
Okay, so that means that we're going to run on the maps that we drew last year. Is that correct?
Is
that what that
that's
means?
a stat. Well, I'm not the lawyer for the committee. I'd be
Okay.
probably better addressed to our legal counsel
Okay.
back there. But yes, that'd be my interpretation, that we'd run under the maps that have been pre-cleared by the Justice Department.
Okay, that's why I was just wondering, because in my short terms here, I ran on maps that had been pre-cleared before and wind up in 2 years later running a different number seat, and the maps changed. So I was just trying to see what would be the difference in this from the other times that they said that they pre-cleared them.
Well, the status right now, these are the maps,
Okay, thank you.
the ones that we adopted during the special session.
Okay, I was just trying to make it clear
Sure.
for myself.
Sure. Thanks.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Any other questions for the author?
Here's some lights are coming on. Sisty.
Representative Hudson.
No question, but correction.
Okay.
And from previous testimony, I don't think it's appropriate for you to say we all had our fingerprints on the map. We did not. I did not. So I wanted to correct that.
Well, I don't want to disagree with my friend down there, but
Yeah.
I recall meeting with you in the reapportionment office one time, looking at some
I
of
was
these,
not invited to the area
looking
meeting.
at some of these districts. So, we made an effort to get everybody in. Everybody was invited. Nearly 99% of the representatives did have an opportunity to look at what was proposed and have input and help us put together the communities of interest in that particular area. So, but it wasn't 100%.
The only reason I got to talk to you is because I stayed to 5:30 that day. But, anyway.
Okay. So,
Representative Stevens.
no, I'm sorry, I got to punch a button here.
Thank you. If I'm in order, I move for adoption.
You're in order. Have a second? Any other discussion? I'm sorry, you're chairperson.
I'll turn the
I'll stay out of your way.
gavel back over anytime you're ready, Mr. Chairman.
You're doing a great job, Mr. Chairman. I'll stay all the way.
At this point, I would actually have an amendment as well, Mr. Chairman, so I will turn it back over to you now.
Okay.
I do also.
First of all, any discussion on the main bill? Okay. Let's see, Mr. McKelton.
I have an amendment, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
I move to amend House Bill 829, LC 285979 at line 499. After approval period, I would add the sentence, if this act has not received preclearance pursuant to Section 5 of the Federal Voting Rights Act by the time of the beginning of the qualifying for the 2012 general primary, comma, the provisions of this act shall not become effective until the 2014 primaries and election for the districts which are the subject of this act, period.
Okay. Motion and second on Chairman McKillop's amendment. Any discussion? Yes,
Is that also known as the poison pill?
that's it.
Okay. I'm learning. I also have an amendment.
I guess we take this amendment up first. All in favor of the McKillop amendment, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Amendment is passed. Any other amendments?
I do. I'd like to amend the map with the plan HSE PROP1 SUB -8D 180 parentheses 1.
Okay, I'm going to rule amendments to the overall map out of order. If someone wants to bring one of those, we're welcome to bring it by separate bill. But we're not going to take amendments that change other districts throughout the state. We've got a litany of people who would like to make technical changes to their districts, and so we encourage those to be done separate from this bill. And I'm not going to rule those amendments out of order. But I will recognize Representative Hatfield, I think, signed up to speak on it, and others have signed up, and I've jumped the gun on that. We do have a bill on the floor, though, and an amendment. I'm going ahead and let you speak to that because I know you're passionate about it.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm a little bit flabbergasted to hear you rule that no other amendments are going to be recognized or allowed. I came before this committee back during the special session to talk about the portion of the map down in southeast Georgia. I live in Ware County, Waycross, and my current House District 177 includes Ware County and all of Charlton County, and we have some real concerns about that part of the state. And I have given each of you a proposed amendment, a map for what I'm asking the committee to consider. But I ask you to think back to the maps that were actually adopted. The map was one which divided my county, Ware County, up into 3 pieces. It divided Charlton County up into 2 pieces and divided Camden County, where Representative Spencer lives, up into 2 pieces. Moreover, in Ware County, in addition to dividing the county 3 ways, because the city of Waycross spills over into Pierce County, which is next door, we actually have 4 representatives for the city of Waycross, which has about 15,000 people. There are 4 representatives that would be required to approve anything that the city of Waycross did or wanted to do. I think that is really, really unjust and an unfair result here. I note that the amendment or the bill that you're considering here today, in addition to fixing a similar problem that exists in Hall County, also fixes another problem. It fixes the pairing of Representatives Cook and Hightower up in that area. And, I understood the chairman to say that we're trying not to have incumbents paired. I understood that to be the goal all along. And I will remind the committee that back during the special session, it was said by some that it was physically impossible not to pair Representative Jason Spencer and myself. And yet we came forward with a map which I bring forward again today, that shows very clearly that it is quite possible, not only physically possible, but it is literally possible to draw a map that does not pair Representative Spencer and myself. Why is it okay to work to unpair those representatives up around Hall County, but it's not okay to work to unpair the representatives down in southeast Georgia? I mean, after all, folks, southeast Georgia, as we all know, is losing population. Isn't it important that as much as possible that we retain a voice in this legislature, that we retain our ability to speak up about the issues that we're passionate about? The Justice Department pre-clearance deals with considerations of minority voting rights. That's what the Justice Department looks at. But there are other parts of the Voting Rights Act, too, that are important. One part of the Voting Rights Act that is important deals with communities of interest. And even though you don't have in front of you today the maps that were adopted by the House back in the special session, I would submit to you that a map that would put Representative Ellis Black in a district starting in Lowndes County and then snake across the bottom of the state all the way over to Camden County near the coast is not representative of a community of interest. There are very divergent concerns, needs, desires amongst those counties that would be in that one district. Similarly, the district that Representative Spencer and I have been drawn into would contain a portion of Ware, a portion of Charlton, and a portion of Camden. I don't think I would need to illustrate in very much detail to you how different the coastal concerns of coastal counties are from those that are more inland and rural. The difference between Camden and Ware in many cases is significant. Another difference that is very significant, which concerns communities of interest, is how Ware County, in being split up three ways, is basically being subjected to the control of two sets of communities. One to the west, Valdosta, and to the east, the Camden County community, consisting of Kingsland, St. Mary's, and Woodbine. Ladies and gentlemen, as I attempted to point out in testimony before this committee several months ago, that puts any representative who represents those parts of the state in a real bind. It puts him or her in a situation of having to choose between one set of constituents and another. For example, something that I laid out before this committee previously was in the situation of Ware County and our hospital there. We have Satilla Regional Medical Center in Waycross, which is a vital part of the delivery of medical services to people in southeast Georgia. Now, since the time of the hearing this summer, it's become apparent that we are going to have Mayo Clinic from Jacksonville is going to become a part of Satilla Regional. It's taking over Satilla Regional Medical Center in Waycross. We're going to have Mayo Clinic in Waycross, Georgia. But at the same time, over to the west in Valdosta, you've got South Georgia Regional Medical Center. And over in Camden, you've got a satellite of Southeast Georgia Regional Medical Center from Brunswick. Those hospitals have very different interests. They compete against Satilla Regional in Waycross. And I laid out previously before you the example of when Waycross was attempting to get a certificate of need to perform open heart surgery, and who were the hospitals that were fighting that very opportunity for my community? Southeast Georgia in Brunswick, that has a satellite in Camden, and South Georgia Regional in Valdosta. Those are the types of issues that a representative who's going to represent this vast expanse of counties is going to encounter. And it's not fair. It's not fair. I'm coming to this committee and I'm kind of laying my heart on the table because I know that each one of you, I've talked with each one of you about this, and I know that you know in your heart of hearts that what's going on here is not fair. Sure, I've come before this committee, I've come before other committees in the House, and I've come on the floor of the House, and I've been very outspoken and very opinionated about things. Folks, that's what the people that elected me sent me up here to do. Maybe I've stepped on a few toes. I understand that. But the people in my county ought not to be put in a situation like this. Put yourselves in this situation. You don't think that if it can happen to me, that it could happen to any one of you? Sure it can. I'm just asking you to do what's fair. I'm asking you, Mr. Chairman, do what's fair here. Is it fair to fix Hall County and to allow Hall County to have the benefits of getting proper representation, but to leave us down in Southeast Georgia in your own backyard, Mr. Chairman, to leave us in such a predicament as that? Is it fair for political reasons to take away the voice of Southeast Georgia? I don't think so. And no matter what this committee does, no matter what the chair rules ultimately, you know, it's like my daddy used to say. My daddy's he passed away in 1997, but he used to say something that I will always remember. He said, the truth will stand when the world's on fire. And you can bet, no matter what comes out of this committee hearing, or what happens over there on the floor, or what happens in this legislative session, we all know the truth. And it might not be what's printed in the Atlanta Constitution, or the Waycross Journal-Herald, or the Columbus newspaper, or the Macon newspaper, but you know the truth, and I know the truth. I'm just asking you to do what's right, not asking for any more, any less. Just do what's right. Thank you.
And just make one comment to that. The truth is that Southeast Georgia lost 4.5 seats. So, you know, you're not the only person in South Georgia that wound up, and because of that, you're going to wind up with eight incumbents paired in Southwest and Southeast Georgia. So, you know, that's the truth, and and we can't change those facts because we didn't gain population like the rest of the state. And I'm not here to debate you with it because you had your debate before this committee, and that's why we're not taking it up again. But
if I may just respond to that.
Certainly, I knew when I said that you were going to get the comeback.
That is your version of the truth, Mr. Chairman. But the truth of it is, and every pair of eyes that are sitting on this committee here today can see, that I have submitted to you a map that does not require a pairing in Southeast Georgia. Now you can spin that however you want to spin it, or you can say whatever you want to say about it, but it's there in black and white and color. And so I would just ask the chair to look at the circumstances. Please consider an amendment on this bill. That's all I can ask. Thank you.
Representative Beasley Teague, or is that 60?
That's
18.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I had, is it any way I can get a copy of the pairings for all of Georgia? Because it kind of blindsided me when you said, how many?
Well, there are eight incumbents paired in South Georgia.
Okay, well, he just gave
Because of the population shift from South, the population grew faster in North Georgia. So they gained representatives, and South Georgia lost representatives.
Okay, because I kept, I've been seeking special information since the 25th, and he was kind enough to give me Fulton County, which is where I live, but I thought we were trying to do things for the state. so I'm getting lost.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, and
Appreciate
next we have Terry Rogers. Thank you. Representative Rogers.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I probably will not be speaking as eloquently as Representative Hatfield, but I would like to sort of lay my heart out on the line for you also. First, let me commend you on the job that you did do last fall. You did a great job. You worked hard, and it is very good news that we were pre-cleared like we were. It's a credit to this committee. That being said, I'm the new guy on the block, and I came in, and I kind of got a surprise the other day when I saw the new maps. And I understand that. I understand the job that y'all have to do. But I also understand the constituency that I have. I represent District 10, which is Habersham and parts of White County. And Habersham County is my home county. And in the new drawing of this, I'm losing part of Habersham County, which greatly concerns me. It is my home, and I believe that there are a number of reasons why Habersham could remain unified. And that's basically the reason I'm here today, is to maybe lay out just a few reasons for you. First, Habersham County has a long tradition of being represented by just one representative, and that's a tradition I'd like to continue. Secondly, when you look at the 50th Senatorial District, Habersham County is the largest county in that district. And it's the third largest county in the newly drawn 9th Congressional District. So that's an important thing to consider. Thirdly, is the fact that there is a pattern of growth in Habersham County. And looking ahead to the future, we'll see that it will continue to grow. So it could stand alone to be represented. Fourth, I think Representative Hatfield talked about the diversity. If you look at the economy of Habersham County, a lot of our economic growth, a lot of our diversity comes from the tourism aspect. And being paired with White County like it is, the map being the way that it is right now, you will see that it has much more in common with the current map than it does with some of the other counties in the proposed map. So I think that is something to take into consideration. And then finally, the last reason is, I will lay my heart on the line on this. Everybody has had a tough year, and we've all seen some tough things. It's been extremely hard in my home county of Habersham. Over the course of the last couple of years, we've seen our unemployment climb. We've seen our property values and home values plummet like never before. We've seen 3 community banks fail. That's tough when you have 2 community banks that date back to the early 1900s and that are the community standard bearers and get grabbed up by somebody else. And it's been a very, very tough year for my county. But throughout the whole thing, we've stood resolute, and we've stood strong, and we've stood unified together, and it's a sense of family, it's a sense of community that we will get through this thing together. And this may be just one little thing right here where part of Habersham County gets taken away that could chip away at that unity that is so important to us and may impact the morale. Now, I also realize that everybody and his brother has their own stories to tell. But I wanted to let you know that it is an impact on my county. I appreciate the job you do. I know that you have a hard job to do. But if there's any possible way to revisit some sort of situation where Habersham County could be kept unified, I greatly appreciate your consideration.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Anybody have a question or comment? Okay.
Thank you all for taking the time to hear me.
Thank you. Thanks for being here. That's all. No, we got Terry Johnson, Representative Johnson. Wave. You're a good fellow. Any other discussion before we vote on the bill with the amendment? Okay. All those in favor of do pass? Aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign? No. The ayes have it. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate y'all's attendance and for being patient with us. Thanks.